Hello and welcome to the Roar-Makerz podcast.
The one-stop shop for courage, confidence, and mindset.
Also bringing you all the aspects of mental health awareness, business and entrepreneurship. We are your hosts,
Adam Ellis
and Jason Borman of the Roar-Makerz Coaching. So tonight we have a very, very special guest. Someone I've met personally from my coaching community in training to be a coach. She's a accredited life coach herself, an NLP master. She's worked in the field of acting for quite a few years, and she's helped train actors and stuff like that. And she's worked in just about every theatre in London. She's actually from New Zealand, but she's living in the UK. And yeah, she's a lovely, lovely lady. And let's get her on. Hello, Kim.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah. So, hello, Kimberly Robbins in the house. So if you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself. Kind of covered some things there, but anything I've sort of missed out that you want people to know about you, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think you got most of it. So I'm Kim. I am an actor director. I do a little bit of writing as well. Who doesn't? And I'm also a confidence coach. I'll be transitioning and rebranding myself into mindset coaching very soon, which I'm very, very excited about. It's quite a new exciting journey for me, which I'm going to be embarking on. And I help actors who are struggling with self-doubt to gain that confidence, get their mindset in the right place, and just really go out and smash every audition that they can and just feel really good about themselves. So that's what I'm all about.
What a fantastic niche, first of all. And I feel like it's very needed as well, because actors are very kind of confident when they're on stage, but sometimes a lot of them I've met are not confident off screen, and having that sort of someone in their corner, I think it's going to be a valuable niche. So well done for finding that and doing that so well. Yes. So we like to talk about courage, confidence, mindset on this podcast. So we were talking a little bit before, and you were saying obviously you're a confidence coach, and so confidence is probably going to be a big area that you like to talk about. So let's hear about your personal journeys with confidence. If you can kind of pinpoint or pick out anything that's really significant for you in your confidence journey. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, I was never really a confident person growing up. I think most people sort of get bullied growing up. I was definitely one of those. I was a competitive athlete, and quite a lot of my youth, from about the age of 7, I'd have coaches, adults, people telling me I wasn't good enough, I should just quit, I'd never amount to anything, why am I wasting my time, and just constantly comments like that every single day. So I really struggled with my confidence. Luckily, behind me, I had my stubbornness, which served me very well, because I was always that girl that was saying, I'm going to prove you wrong, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so I think that for me was the start of it, that was me just sitting there determined not to quit, not to listen to them, not to give up. So that was something I really worked on and kind of grew towards. But obviously you hear those comments every day and it does affect you. And I think that's the same with actors as well, as you get rejected daily, multiple times a day, quite a lot of the time. And it is so hard to keep telling yourself that you're good enough and you're worth it and you're strong enough to make it through those no's until you get to that yes, which will happen, just takes a little while. So for me, that was always a journey that I've been on, is constantly having to remind myself of those things. And I always really fought against it, and it wasn't until I found coaching that I actually like found an easier way to do it, so it didn't feel like I was fighting it anymore and sort of punching a brick wall. It was something that I was using from behind to really support me and lift me up. So for me, that has been the biggest shift, is I'm not now fighting to have confidence. I'm now like building it up from underneath me, which has been the most rewarding and life-changing thing that I could have gone through. To the point where I guess before I couldn't even talk to a group of people. I couldn't sit, I would be the one that sat in the corner and just listened to what people had to say, because I didn't want to put my input in, because what if they didn't like me? What if they thought it was stupid? And it really does play on your mind. Whereas now I'll actively participate and start conversations and be really having deep connections and creating, you know, vibes and relationships with people that I never would have done before. So confidence is something that really has changed my life, and that's why I want to make sure that everybody has it, because I think no matter what you do, confidence is something that you have to have in aspects of your life. It might not need to be in all of them, but in at least one area, you need to have confidence. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen to your fullest potential. So being able to be a confidence coach and give back what I've learned and what I've been able to go through myself is so rewarding.
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons I wanted to transition the other way. So I was a mindset coach, and now I've transport like all of that into courage and confidence, because you know, through my coaching journey, I've coached lots of people, and one thing they were saying that I give through my coaching is a sense of confidence, and you know, a platform on which to build their own confidence as well. Yeah, it's kind of, so it naturally fell to me, you know, in that way. I didn't really know when I went into coaching, you know, what I was going to pick, what area I was going to focus on. But yeah, so sometimes it falls to you, doesn't it? Like, you know, yeah, so I agree with all that you said as well, like with, you know, in terms of bullying, and, you know, our words can hurt people physically as well, you know. Sticks and stones idea is, you know, the most rubbish, you know, claim that there ever was, if you know what I mean. It's, words can physically hurt. Like, you know, I can make someone salivate just talking about lemons on a hot day. Like,
that's one of my favorite exercises, that one. I love the lemon exercise.
So, you know, I can create physical change within someone else. You know, there's probably all sorts of chemical stuff going on in the body, cortisol and all of that, when, you know, we get bullied.
Absolutely.
You know, it does affect people. And yeah, so let's abolish that idea of, you know, sticks and stones, because it's, you know, pretty rubbish basically. I think it's just kind of a plaster, isn't it? But you know, that's a deep wound that you've received when you got bullied and stuff. And it's an area I'm quite passionate about as well, like, you know, wanting to kind of help people through that, because it's a horrible experience. So Adam, have you got a question, Kim?
So what made you want to transition from the confidence side of it to the mindset?
I think for me, I've always wanted to just help people. That's something that I really love. And I found that not only do actors need the confidence, but if they have all the confidence in the world, that's fantastic. But if they don't have the mindset, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to be motivated. They're not going to get anywhere. So for me, as much as the whole thing is all interconnected, confidence and mindset, I think, are one and the same. I think mindset has a slightly bigger umbrella, where confidence can sit in sort of a sub bit underneath that. So that's why I'm really interested in it, is because I can then open it up to helping something so much bigger of, let's look at this whole mindset umbrella. In that, we've got maybe weeks 2 and 3 where it's just a confidence boot camp and we just overhaul everything and just really like restart that. And then great, we've got that. Now we can really focus on the next parts and kind of building it up further and further until the whole umbrella is just completely full. So that's a big part of the reason, was wanting to, as much as I love confidence and focusing on just that, I want to be able to branch out and give people the whole experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, like, you've moved across the world as well. Like, you used to live in New Zealand, so that's a big shift in someone's life, and you know, the confidence it takes to kind of pick up and leave and you know, and move to a different country, I think, you know, underrated. You know, it's, you know, it takes a big upheaval. I've had a, you know, similar journey myself. Like, I lived in America for like 13 months and did a program out there, so I can completely relate to, you know, picking up and going and starting somewhere else, you know, and what it takes to do that. So that's, yeah, I feel, you know, connected with you on that as well. So let's hear about that. What was that like for you?
You know what, it was actually my mum who really helped me with that. And my mum, I guess my mum has always sort of been secretly my coach for my entire life, just in a very different way to, I guess, regular coaching. But I don't think I'll ever forget the day we sat on my bed and we were just talking, and she just turned to me and went, "It's time. It's time for you. It's time. I know you're scared, but you're going to be great, and give it a go. And if it doesn't work out and you want to come back home, you can come back home." But she kind of always said that as soon as I was born, she knew I wouldn't stay in New Zealand. She always knew it. So for me to have that as well, and to have her confidence in me, that was the one thing that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I can do it. And worst comes to worst, I've tried something, and if I fail, then I haven't really failed. I've had this whole new experience and I can take that back and it's going to be fine. And I guess for me, I've always been really lucky that I am quite resourceful, and I'll always find a way to land on my feet. And I managed to do that. I moved to London not having anywhere to stay, not having a job, kind of staying with relatives that I'd never met before down in Devon and Exeter. They were lucky, they were nice enough to take me in. Spent a lot of time applying for jobs, just day in, day out, finding something. Managed to make connections with a family friend of a family friend whose like son and daughter lived in London, and they graciously let me stay with them. So I could like get on my feet and grab a job, which I managed to do in the theatre, which is also where I met Liam from the Coaching Masters as well, which got me then all into this as well. So it's all kind of been a big cycle. But it truly has been moving from one thing to the next and learning on my feet and figuring out on the go. And as much as it's been the scariest thing I've ever done, it's also the thing that I'm most proud of in my life, because picking up and moving halfway across the world where you have no one and you really have to rely on yourself and back yourself, that has been the biggest lesson I could have ever faced, and has really sort of pushed my independence, pushed me to make sure I really was supporting myself and checking in with myself and fighting for myself to keep moving forward and keep growing and keep learning. And now I know that it's the best thing that I ever did, and I know that I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't change it, which I think is the best thing.
And it's, you know, it's great to know that life isn't meant to be lived in one place. You know, it's about exploring and finding your feet in multiple places. Like myself and Adam have worked all around the world, like as well, and yeah, so yeah, it's great. Like, it's a good experience. You know, it builds your confidence. You know, takes you away from family, you know, and relying on other people. You figure out what you want real fast. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And you learn to find your own feet really fast, and I think that's, and you grow up as well. Like, you know, it's kind of, it's a big shift on your independence, like you say, and um, but it's also nice to go with people's blessing back home as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's one
Yeah.
thing, you know, up and leaving everybody when, you know, they don't want you to go, and it's like hard, and you've got this urge to go, but no one else wants you to go. But to go with someone's blessing, I can imagine, is quite amazing.
Oh yeah, that was, I couldn't have done it without that blessing there, without that conversation. I still remember every part of it, so the fact that it obviously meant that much then, I still even get emotional when I think about it, just because I'm like, wow, that one changed my life, like that's cool. So
yeah, it's
yeah,
almost like a moment of grace, isn't it? It's like, oh,
yeah,
you know, you didn't need to do that, but you know, for her to, you know, step into that and
yeah,
that blessing,
absolutely,
you know, means a lot in the end. So
yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So what areas are you wanting to look at with like mindset and stuff? Like, let's move into that. So
Oh gosh, all of it. I
yeah,
think, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for actors is the resilience and being able to have that side. So being able to build a really solid, resilient mind is the most important thing. And I think for a lot of actors, there is, I guess, this thing where you're doing it for the approval of others. You go to an audition and you want the casting director or the people sitting behind the desk to like you. You want people to like what you're doing. You want people to approve. You want people to go, you know, that's the one, you're the one, and give you that shot. But I think the only way you can really become successful as an actor and as a person is if you already have that approval within you. It can't come from other people. They'll say yes, they'll say no, that's part of the job, that will happen. But if you can walk out of an audition saying, it doesn't matter if they like me or not, because I really liked what I did then. I really loved what I did in that moment. This one I could have improved on, I could have changed that maybe, but what I did, I feel really good about. And that's fine. I can let that go now. I can move on because great, I've done that one now. So I think for an actor, especially an auditioning actor, that is the most important thing to have, is a resilient mindset and that self-worth, that self-belief, and the knowledge that they are enough just within themselves without needing the approval of others.
yeah, so that's like a big part of acting, I think, isn't it? It's that escapism. You get to play other people, like, you
Yeah,
know. So to actually focus from within and have that kind of that self-awareness and that self-approval, and you know, whatever happens today, I'm gonna kind of go in with the same mindset of I'm good enough. And
absolutely. And it's so interesting as well, because most of the time as an actor, in order to become someone else, you have to be able to put yourself to the side as well.
yeah,
And it's so much easier to do that when you're at peace and calm and you really know who you are, to take that and put it aside, rather than having that anxious feeling inside where you're constantly worrying about what they're going to think, what they're going to do. You can't put that aside. That sticks to you. So
yeah,
being able to really like have that, I know who I am. I can put you over here for a minute. I'll pick you up. Don't worry. I'll come and grab you in a second, and you can come back inside. But right now, I just need you to go over here so I can be this other person. And I think that is such an important thing for an actor to learn, is how to compartmentalize and separate that and know it's fine to go back to it, rather than trying to hold on and let go at the same time, because you can't physically let go and be fully in the character if you're holding on to yourself
yeah.
and your concerns and your worries and the mind.
So little bits of you will come through, won't they? And it would be a broken performance. And, yeah, that's kind of a big part of it. So yeah, that's really interesting. Uh, so what are your like rituals and stuff? What do you do before you jump on stage and act or perform?
That's a really good question. I think for me, I mean, I meditate a lot normally, just every day, because I think that's a really great way of kind of relaxing the mind and being able to separate kind of soul and body, I guess, a little bit, as well as just helping you focus. Like if you sit and meditate for 20 minutes where you just focus on your breath going in and out, your focus is a lot stronger and that mind is so much stronger going into something. And I think for me, the most important thing going right in just before I go is just reminding myself how much I love it, and I'm doing this because I love it and because it's fun and I just want to have fun. So that as soon as I do that, the nerves just go, because it's not, oh my gosh, I hope they like me, or I hope this goes well, I hope I don't forget my lines. It's none of that. It's, I really love what I'm doing, I'm gonna have fun. If I mess up, fine, let's make it part of it, let's see what happens, and then kind of rolling with that and going in. And I find I do better because I'm not as stressed. There was actually, I had a masterclass. This is probably maybe the best bit of advice that I've kept with me forever. And it's a little bit crude and a little bit ridiculous, so I apologize in advance. But we had a masterclass with Ed Skrein, who's a really fantastic actor. And he said that the best advice he ever got was from, I think it was a director. I can't remember who it was now, which is awful. But the best advice he ever got was from this director who said, relax your asshole and fuck it. And that's what he's done for his whole life, is just before they say go, just before action, you relax your ass and then you just go, fuck it. And you just do it. And for me, as crude as that is and a little bit ridiculous, that is some of the best advice, because you have to relax and just go for it. And I think that's such a big part of, people forget that you get so tense because it's like, oh God, we're about to do this big dramatic scene, and then you can't ease into it. You can't just let the performance be what it is because you're so tense. So that I think is the most ridiculous and best piece of advice I've ever heard as well.
Yeah. So
I'm stealing it.
Steal it, go for it. Courtesy of Ed Skrein and the director who gave it to him.
So yeah, do you have another question, Adam?
So it is one for you. What's the biggest hurdle you've faced, and how have you used mindset to make it into a positive?
That's a really good question. I feel like there's never a specific instance, because I think with mindset, it's constantly like little things that all pile up. And so you get to that point where, you know, it's rejection after rejection, or it's, you know, people telling you mean things or like awful things that just pile up. And you do get to that breaking point. And I've had it quite a few times where you sit there and you go, what do I do? Like, where do I go? I actually had it a few months ago, where I sat there and I went, I'm really good at a lot of things that I do in my life, but I'm not great at anything. And all I want in my life is to be great at the one thing that I want to do, which is acting. And that was such a big thing for me, because I'd never said something like that to myself. I'd always convinced myself that I was so great, I was going to be great, I was keeping working, I would be great, I would be great. And for me to just have that moment and that thought of, I'm not great, I'm just good, was awful. And it really, just the one time saying it to myself really damaged my whole psyche. It lowered my confidence. It really messed me up for quite a while. And it was a really hard journey of going right back to the basics, journaling every single day, looking in the mirror and going, I am great. I'm not just good enough, I'm great enough. And really just drilling that in every single day, just blocking out that negative, taking it away. It didn't exist, it never happened, that's gone. I am great. I'm great at this, I'm great at that, and bringing that back in and really starting from the beginning again, and also finding out where it came from. Why did I have that thought? What happened for me to have that thought? Was it a trigger? Was it something that I was going through that day? Was it something somebody said to me? And figuring that out of, okay, that's where it's come from. It's come because I've been really stressed out. I've been really trying to struggle, and I've started having to fight again and trying to punch through the brick wall. So we need to get back to where we're building ourselves up again. And now I'm finally in a place again where I'm like, great, okay, we're building ourselves up. Yeah, we're doing a great job. Cool. which is, yeah, I think that's the biggest hurdle that I faced recently, was just that thought that just crushed me, and being able to come out of that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. Lovely. It shows what a little negative thought can do as well. Like, it doesn't even have to be every day or constant. It can just be a little thread of a negative thought. Could keep you stuck for a while. So, it's important to try and keep that in check. And if you're having a bad day, put it down to a bad day. Like, don't let it carry on into the next day. Like, would be my little bit of advice. Like, figure out like you did with what's going on for you here. Like, why is this happening? Like, and yeah, that self-searching, right? For one of the courses we're doing at the moment, or we have done, is emotional intelligence. So that was something that someone who's trained in that would do. So it looks like you've already got a lot of that within you.
Yeah, and it is one of those things, it's so hard to see when you are in the situation, because you spiral like that. As people, we spiral so easily and so quickly. So either having someone around you who can go, wait a second, you're spiraling, or having the ability and the techniques and the skills to be able to notice it, even if, like, mine took maybe a month or a month and a half of spiraling before I was like, wait a second, I'm spiraling here, let's get myself out of that one. So having those people around you to be like, you're spiraling, and then also having the techniques to be like, oh, I'm spiraling, it's true, I am, let's fix that. I think that's so important and so vital, is having that emotional intelligence, and also having the people around you as well to support and encourage you.
So I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you an attention seeker, or are you bound for greatness?
I don't think I've ever really sought attention. So for me, I don't even think I'm bound for greatness. I don't think I'm either. I think I am great. I just am. I think I was just born with greatness in me, and it's just taken me a long time and a lot of self-development and self kind of searching for me to find the greatness that's already within me. And I think that's true for every person. Every person has greatness within them. They just have to find what that greatness is going to do, what area of their life that greatness is going to be in. Like, for example, I'm probably not great at romance or love. Like, for me, that's never been something I've been great at, but I'm really great at helping people and being there for people. And I'm really great at acting. I love it. It's what I love. And I used to be so like almost dismissive of that and be like, oh yeah, I act sometimes, I don't know. But I have to own that. I have to own that because I love it. And if I can't say that I'm great, then I don't really love it that much, or I'll never be able to be great if I don't say I love it. So it's a double-edged sword of, without being arrogant, I'm really great. And I'm so proud of that.
There is no arrogance. You have to love yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself, then what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're not doing something that you love and you don't love yourself doing it, what's the point? What is the point of that? You have to love what you do, and you have to love yourself doing it. Otherwise, you're not going to find happiness. I think that's the secret to happiness, is doing what you love and loving yourself doing it. And
taking ownership.
And not listening to anyone else's opinion of that.
Yeah. There's a lot of keys to happiness. We could go around for a long time adding this.
So in terms of like where people can find you, because we like to promote our people on, come on the podcast. So if someone wants to work with you and who's listening to this or watching this podcast, how can they find you? Where are you? And
Where am I? Well, I am on Facebook and Instagram as Kimberly Robbins, accredited confidence coach, which will be changing soon to accredited mindset coach. And I also have my own website, which is kimrobbinscoaching.com. Which I'm really proud of. That will also be going through a rebrand. At the moment, my colors are sort of this blue, but I think I'm going to change them to a little, this is a top secret, you're getting first intel of this. I think I'm going to go for like a black and then like a coppery bronzy color. Oh, I'm
like
so
it.
excited.
Yeah, very, very theatre. I like it. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. So, have you got like a final bit of golden nugget, like information that we could squeeze out of you? What would your like one bit of advice be to, you know, anyone thinking about, you know, working with a coach or yeah.
I think the best piece of advice for anyone who is thinking about working as a coach is, why haven't you already? And it might seem like a plug or like I'm trying to, you know, promote coaching, but from personal experience, it changed my entire life. It changed my outlook on life. It changed my relationships. It changed me for the better. All of it has just gotten so much better since I started coaching. And I kick myself that I didn't do this when I was younger. As it is, I like feel so grateful every day that I found it when I did at 27, 28 now, because I can't imagine if I had gotten any further in my life and missed out on what I have now because I didn't find coaching. So what is there to lose, really? There's nothing to lose. I've not lost anything, but I've gained so much, more than I ever could have expected, more than I ever thought I would at this point in my life. And knowing that I've started that now, and I still have all these years ahead of me where I can just keep doing it and do it more and more self-discovery, I feel like I have kind of like the secret to living a successful life. But it's a secret that I want to share with people, because I want people to feel this and to be able to live their best lives. Because we all say that, oh yeah, live your best life, yes, but this is living your best life, literally. So for anybody considering it, give it a go. Be completely open to it. Let the journey take you where it takes you, and discover a new person within you. Discover what you've had inside all along that you've just hidden. Do it.
You can get that all by working with a coach as well. Like, you know, so if you're not ready to be a coach, you know, or you don't feel that's for you, that's fine. Like, you know, but definitely working with a coach and having them help you improve the area where you want to go. Like,
I would never go anywhere without a coach now. There's not 1 week of my life that I wouldn't have a coach. Knowing what I know and learning what I've learned and having that sounding board to bounce ideas off and bounce my troubles off, I would never not have a coach now. I'm always going to have a coach.
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh, thank you for coming on. You've been incredible. Like, so blessed to have you on today. And yeah, for everyone listening, let's draw on that courage.
Build up that confidence.
And let's get back your roar.
Thanks so much, guys. It's been amazing.
Thank you. See you later.